Hello, Jean-Jacques. How are you? Oh. Where's Mom? Go to your mother. Bye-bye. In Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, bless you, my son, for time and eternity, and his bless me and be forgiven. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, we were just notified about 20 minutes ago that Russian Code was going to be releasing this documentary about the family, and so I decided that we would do a little watch party about it and see how we go. Hello, Lisa. Dima. Can y'all hear me okay? The sound coming through okay? Can everybody hear me? Ah, okay. Hold on a second. Is that better when I speak like that? A little bit closer to the mic, or is it still really far away? Testing. Interesting. Oh, it's better now. Okay, sweet. Hello, Kansas City. Everybody should check their volume. I can definitely speak up, that's for sure. But just make sure I'm not going crazy. How about now? Testing, testing, testing. Testing 1, 2. Okay, sweet. Just make sure we have the let up. Ah. Oh, a hiss. Okay, hold on like this. Alrighty. These settings are always, oh, I understand what's going on. Alrighty, now we're going to test. Testing, 1, 2. Okay, how about hiss now? Alrighty, now let's see about that. Sorry, these settings on the live stream are always different. So it's going to start here in just a minute, this premiere. Alright, so I'm just doing a live stream of what Russian Code is doing. And so I'm just going to watch this along with y'all, and if y'all have any questions about something that's said or whatnot, I'm watching this for the first time myself. I have not seen any of this at all, so I'll be watching it fresh myself. So if you have any questions on something that's said, definitely make sure to ask any questions, and I will try not to make too much commentary throughout. Where's everybody from? Definitely Kansas City is on. It's good to see Kansas City. Hey Reagan, how's it going? Texas is represented. Of course, my new home of Moscow is here. That's awesome. I just posted a new video like 2 days ago. I was feeling like I was getting better about posting more frequently. Oh, Ecuador. Just to give everybody a heads up too, there is a delay on the audio. Say, love you, Nana.
Love you, Nana. St. Basil's was in that church.
Happy to be here. We have 6 children.
Children are very important in Russia in a way that I have not seen in any other country. So we're traditional Catholics.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Ghost.
I've never felt safer in my entire life. People were very kind. They said, "Oh, we love Americans. We just hate your government." And I said, "Oh, well, I do too." So there's obviously the LGBT situation, the Satanist situation, which is
No idea
only
how
getting
much I
clearer
enjoyed
and clearer.
We cannot teach our children that it's okay to have marriage between two men or two women. We won't do that. And so now, because of this, we are considered a threat to the country. There's the threat of the children being taken.
They could just take them to the hospital and get them, cut up because the 5-year-old boy thinks that he feels like a girl.
As long as we help Ukraine with the weapons they need and the economic support, they will fight to the last person.
I think America does not want Russia to continue to exist. Ukraine is being used as a puppet for my country. How do you say hello?
Привет.
How do you say I want?
Я хочу.
We want to be Russian citizens as soon as possible. My name is Joseph Schutzman. I'm a program manager in IT from back in the States.
I'm Anne Schutzman, Joseph's wife, and before we were married, I was a registered nurse, but now I am a housewife.
We moved to Russia and we're looking at jobs doing business interviews right now. So we have 6 children. Number 7 is on the way. We have Florine, who is 7, Clotilde, who is 5, Marie Antoinette, who is 4, Joseph is 3, Jean-Jacques is almost 2, Wolfgang is 7 or 8 months at this point, and then Mikhail will be due in July. So I was born in Arlington, Virginia, but I got as quickly to Texas as I could, so I was raised as a Texan, but then my family moved to upstate New York for a little while, then we settled down in Missouri.
I was born in Brisbane, and that's where most of my Australian family still lives. We met on Catholic Match. He messaged me and said, "Happy birthday."
Yeah, in March, and then we started talking very quickly. We just knew that we were the right for each other, so a couple months later, in 2015, I went to visit her, brought a ring with me just in case.
It's quite bold to bring a ring.
And,
I didn't expect it at all.
So I proposed to her, and then we got married in November later on that year. We were in Missouri for a couple of years and then moved to rural Kansas. So that's where we came from, to Russia. America is not the place that it was even 3 or 4 years ago. Everything is very dramatically going faster and faster in the wrong direction from, our beliefs, certainly. Basic human natural law is just being completely ignored and going full steam. So we started looking at places to leave America. I think the original focus was not, let's go to Russia, but the first thought was just, we need to leave America. But where would you go? Americans often have this problem where we tend to think that we're a little bit of the center of the universe and everything kind of revolves around us. Because of that education, it's very difficult to think about what life would be like in a different country for most people. So we just literally set a globe on the table and we just started talking about this place, and okay, do some research online. What do they think about these LGBT values and what are the political pressures that are being put on these countries? And then finally we just said, look, we really need to have a serious conversation about Russia. We've heard what Putin has been saying. I love what the president is doing with putting the LGBT on the extremist list, outlawing Satanism, all real legislation and decrees against these things and making it a safe place for traditional values where traditional values can grow up again.
Oh, wow.
Goes the train, Jean-Jacques. Woo! Wave to the train, wave! Wave to the train! Hey, train!
Whoa, did you see how fast it is?
So we visited in February of 2023. It was just amazing what we saw in just even a week of being here. So we started selling everything and all of our belongings, and we started making it over here. It was getting a little bit tiring, and we were, questioning a little bit closer to the time we were leaving, and then we saw the laws that were being passed. 6 states in 3 months passed laws that, if your 5-year-old boy says that he wants to be a girl, then, they can just take the boy away from the parents without permission and take them to the hospital and chop them up before.
At the schools. If he said it at school, the teachers could do it without asking the parents behind their backs.
And we're like, okay, nope, all right, we're still going. Exit stage left, So.
In case anybody was wondering if Catholicism is illegal in Russia.
So we're
it's
traditional
not.
Catholics. By traditional Catholics, we mean that we observe the traditions of the Catholic Church for 2,000 years. So our Mass, in our case, is still in Latin. We don't believe any of this mumbo jumbo that's in the mainstream Catholic Church about LGBT and, everybody is, just, we don't have to worry about morality or anything like this. We just love and everything will be fine. This is not charity, if you will. This is just being nice. It doesn't mean anything more than that. It's not principled. So we believe in those principles. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. We're kind of getting attacked from both sides right now. Of course, our own Pope hates us very much and is trying to put out our Mass throughout the world. I never thought that this day would come, but now even in American Congress, they're talking about the terms Latin Mass and traditional Catholic because there was a scandal last year of the FBI putting traditional Catholics on the domestic terrorist list.
The traditional Catholics won't accept the new agenda, and they know that. So they see traditional Catholics as a threat because the new agenda it doesn't align with our faith. So we cannot accept it. We cannot teach our children that they can be gay. We cannot teach our children that it's okay to have marriage between 2 men or 2 women. We won't do that. And so now, because of this, we are considered a threat to the country, which is so ridiculous.
We're got to go!
At least the polls are claiming in America that that's 30% of people are saying that they're, some version of this alternate reality that they've created themselves for, gay, lesbian, whatever.
We're fabulous, don't f with us. We're here, we're queer.
Now, pedophilia is, at this point, we're just getting to this point where they're trying to explain to people very gently that, hey, everybody loves somebody, and just some people just happen to be attracted to little children. Everybody knows that what's going on, and you either are for it or you're against it. But even the people who are against it, there's only a small portion of that population that's willing to do something about it. I was actually talking with a Catholic religious brother who's a very good friend of mine, and he said, "Look, Joseph, I think this is a very good decision that you're making." Because throughout history, whenever society has devolved to this level where the children are targeted, that civilization does not last. And it very quickly ends and something new occurs. And that's what I truly believe is going on.
How did your relatives react on your movement here?
We both have many family members. And to be honest, at first, we didn't tell many people straight away because it's a very controversial idea. We wanted to do it privately and quietly because, in America, it's real now that, children are taken away from their parents. America sees Russia as a threat. We did not want our children taken from us because we wanted to take our children to Russia. So we were very private. We didn't tell many people, and it wasn't until some weeks before we left that we began telling just our close family members.
There were varied responses. There were certainly people who they were just saying, this is not a good idea. Then there were some people that say, yeah, actually, that sounds like a very interesting idea. There were a good bit of people in the middle who said nothing at all. We told them the news, and they're like, oh, okay, good. One of the most notable things in Russia is Russians treat children like gold bars. Children are very important in Russia in a way that I have not seen in any other country. When we are walking around with our children, who will still talk to me in Russian and think that I, know how to speak Russian and whatnot, and they just say, "Молодец, this is great. Wow, this is amazing. Keep going." In America, random people walk up to my wife and say, you know what causes this, right? I mean, it's an insulting thing no matter who you say it to, but you say that to my wife. I mean, you're messed up in the head. I mean, these are real things that people say in America to each other. That if you're trying to have a large family, people think you're a little bit crazy. That's not everybody, but that's a normal occurrence for that to happen. We were walking into grocery stores and restaurants and whatnot, and of course the plenty and everything like that completely dispelled any of these myths that the Russians are over here starving from the sanctions, as an example, right? But not only that, you walk into a restaurant or even a fast food, and people still believe in customer service here in Russia. They believe in being polite, like, okay, you are a customer that is coming to give us money for food. You go into a restaurant in America, most of the time you're just a number, like, here, just take your food and leave, get out of my face, I gotta do something else. And people actually care about service. They care about being polite and respectful. That's a big difference. Going into a grocery store, I don't have to see a bunch of fat women walking around in their pajama pants. It's repulsive. But I even started doing a video of just walking to a grocery store with my eldest daughter. And that was one of the biggest comments that I got from people that called me up and saying, "Hey, Joseph, there's nobody walking around in their pajamas. Everybody just looks like they're normal people just wanting to, live their life." And what I've been trying to tell you, I fell down a large flight of stairs in the middle of winter. I tore my left meniscus. So I went into 3 different consultations with 3 different surgeons. The price for this surgery in the United States would be tens of thousands of dollars. And I walked in and I'm like, oh yeah, I know, this is gonna be, a pretty decent surgery, and yeah, it's gonna cost you like $1,400. I was like, $1,400. So it must be like some translation. Maybe he didn't say it correctly in dollars. Maybe I'll ask you. $1,400 to have this. I went to go get the MRI. I mean, MRIs are ridiculously expensive, hundreds of dollars or more in the States. I walked in, they're like, oh, yeah, it's gonna be expensive because you need it done right now. So it's gonna be like, I don't know, like 9,000 rubles. Normally it's only like 3,000 rubles, but you wanted it done right now, so it's going to be like $90 equivalent. I was very, very shocked. So it was extremely professional. Everything was very high-end, very well kept. The machinery was amazing. The surgeon was great. The nurses were amazing. I'm actually quite surprised that Russia doesn't have like as much maybe medical tourism. Oh my gosh, Americans have no idea what they're missing out here. I mean, it's amazing care for very, very cheap.
Maybe you had something that you didn't like in Russia.
Your run-of-the-mill American is not used to being an immigrant. They're used to receiving immigrants with open borders, by the way, right? Especially in most recent years. We're not used to this concept of how much paperwork is involved and difficulties in coming, et cetera. It has been very difficult with the process of immigrating, more logistically as a large family. A normal person's stack of paper is this, now multiply that times 8. I mean, it's a lot of paperwork. So I think that there are definitely things that can be cleaned up from a logistical perspective. But both my wife and I agreed that it is worth every bit of the struggles that we have had since we've gotten here, just to get away from the oppression that we felt living in the States.
Okay, let's go.
We use the trains and the metros and the trams and the buses, and it's really fantastic transportation just to start with. But people come out of nowhere to help us get on and off of this transportation. We walk onto the metro and they see all the children, and people just stand up and they just move. They're not looking for a thank you. No, it's just expected as part of Russian society that the children need to sit down. In America, I have never used the New York metro system because I was never, no desire to go down there. You just have to watch videos online. I mean, you see the filth and the rats and the people getting into fights and the homeless and the drug addicts and all that sort of stuff. Moscow Metro, all the time. It's very clean, people are very polite, and it's markedly quiet. But I mean, I'm the loudest person on this train right now is a great example. You don't hear anybody else.
That's true.
I have to remember to be quiet myself because I'm just constantly shouting. Go, go, go.
All right, we're all together? Good, all right, we're going to follow Papa.
Here we go.
You two follow Papa first.
I've never felt safer in my entire life, really. And it blew my mind that I could just walk around a city with my children and not be scared that somebody was just going to drive by in a car and just snatch one of them off the street and take off. We have intentionally not lived in large cities. Kansas City is a pretty small city, and it's extremely dangerous. Maybe it's not Chicago, but it's not very far behind Chicago. The cities in America are extremely dangerous. There were literally maps that were put out about if you're a white, do not go into these parts of the city. Just absolutely do not under any circumstances do that. Also, again, as an example, there is a theme park in Kansas City, and they had a pedophilia ring that was living or operating inside the theme park. And thousands of children disappeared over the years, thousands of children. And they would take them, and then nobody would talk about them. They finally cleaned up the ring several years back ago, but those children are gone. That's a real thing that has happened and is happening in America right now. One thing that I thought was so impressive about most of the Russians that I have met is that Russians separate people from their government. I came here and I was very shocked. I didn't know what to expect. I thought, there would be some apprehension about me being an American. No, people were very kind. They said, oh, we love Americans. We just hate your government. And I said, oh, well, I do too. So we could be friends. This is great. But I'll notice that once people know that I'm an American, they're like, hey, so what's going on? What do you think is going on in Ukraine? What do you think you think America is, really, fighting this war? I was like, yeah, this is definitely my country that's fighting for their, we'll call them values, but America is the country that starts the most wars in the name of freedom. The amount of people who have to suffer without even asking to suffer for it, for this freedom that they didn't know that they were missing out on, is from America. That's what the reality that we have to deal with, and it's the same that's within Ukraine. Ukraine is being used as a puppet for my country, and I think it's absolutely despicable how America can say with a straight face and look every American in the eye on TV and say we will fight with Russia till the last Ukrainian soldier. So you could just genocide an entire population and encourage them to commit literal suicide.
I like the structural path we're on here. As long as we help Ukraine with the weapons they need and the economic support, they will fight to the last person.
I think America does not want Russia to continue to exist. I think they want Russia to be completely split up, much more comfortable existence for America, for Russia to go back to the 90s. For whatever reasons, the Americans are not happy with their own resources that are sitting on top or underneath their own land that they refuse in the name of these Green New Deals and liberal ideas, but they're perfectly happy to want to come and plunder Russia's. So I think there's a huge resource intention that's involved there. But I think the ideological side is almost, well, it's certainly more important, but I think it is even important to the United States that Russia not actually pick herself back up and complete a road back in the full moral Christian direction. I think that that is something that would damage the intentions of the globalists to stop Christianity from becoming a strong power in every sense of the word, not just a spiritual one, but a united peoples. What I don't think is a reason for this is that Russians hate Ukrainians or anything like that. Clearly, America has pushed its borders with a new name called NATO, but this is really America that runs this show because we're the ones with the resources that nobody, I mean, British can't even fill a football stadium with their army. I mean, it's a joke. How this war will end depends on whether or not we're starting another war. There's really two potential outcomes. Either the Russians will win the war against Ukraine, or Russia's going to win the war against NATO. I didn't move to Russia because I thought it was an unsafe place. We know in America that we don't have the defenses that can stand up against missile attacks. I think Russia, on the other hand, I think is prepared to, and had necessarily to prepare for protecting itself and being able to protect its borders and its people. So there are basically two outcomes. Either Ukraine is defeated or Ukraine and NATO is defeated by Russia. Here we are. We're just going into Red Square. I built a YouTube channel back in the States several years ago. It was very focused on religion. So in this case, coming to Russia, I thought it was actually important to take a look from a different perspective from life of a large family. We're in Russia?
Yeah, we're in Moscow, Russia.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't this wonderful and beautiful and breathtaking all at the same time?
St. Basil's was in that church.
Oh, yes. Say, love you, Nana.
Love you, Nana.
Happy to be here.
Look at that.
I most recently was working for Red Hat, which is a Linux open source company owned by IBM. But I've worked for several other big companies before, Microsoft, Oracle, Cerner, Sprint, which is now T-Mobile. I'm an IT program manager, and it's my job to have a portfolio of projects. I don't currently work right now. I was laid off back in the States. They had huge layoffs at Red Hat. They even laid off my boss just even recently. So after she laid off all these people on her team, then they laid her off. So that's becoming a big trend in the States right now, that a lot of technology lost a ton of jobs last year. Despite that Biden and Kamala are saying, oh, we've created these billions of jobs. Yeah, you get on LinkedIn sometime and see how many people are applying to any one of these jobs. Now I think that my preference is that I actually just work for a Russian IT company. That would be my preference. Of course, it's difficult with the language, but I've had several business interviews so far. I'll tell you this story. My first experience interviewing with a Russian company. So, why did you move from America to Russia, of all places? And I was like, to get away from the fags. And everybody in the room just busted up laughing, and they're like, great, we want you to come back for a second interview. And I was just I don't know why I blurted it out like that. I was just like so excited. I was just like, no, this is amazing. And I was talking with the HR woman as we were on the way out of the meeting room, and I just said, you know, that if I had said that in the States, I would have been completely unemployable for the rest of my life. I mean, nobody they'd just lose their minds. So that was my first business interview in Russia.
This is our place.
So we've applied now for temporary residency, just applied for that. So now it's a 2 to 4 month wait for approval. We're planning to go all the way. Citizenship is our goal. We want to be Russian citizens as soon as possible. Have you learned any new Russian words lately?
Travis, Slon. That's for elephant.
That's for elephant. Ah. How about airplane?
Samolyot.
Samolyot. How do you
Ragada.
Rakieta.
Ah, he remembers
Thank
it
you.
from the expo.
How do you say hello?
Привет.
Привет. How do you say I want?
Я хочу.
Я хочу.
Стул. Стул.
What's the chair?
Стул.
Stool.
Дом. Дом.
What is dom?
Dom.
What is
House.
House. Yes?
Goat.
They must learn Russian. We think that it's very important for Americans who come here to not continue just being Americans or Brits or whomever is coming over here and continue being that person. You have to become a different person. So the language, of course, is the most important of that, but we need to learn the history, we need to learn the culture, the songs, the music. I mean, all of these things are all part of, the Russian soul, and I have a lot to learn about everything here, but also do my children.
Well, we're both from large families. Joseph is one of 12 children, and in my family, I'm one of 13. So for us, a big family is a way of life. We homeschool now, and it's good for our family right now. We've just moved from America. It's a big change for our children. And, people have asked me, oh, will you send your children to school in future? Perhaps. We've talked about it. We just do the same as what we were taught, what our parents taught us.
Oh, what is it? A camel. Oh, it has the humps. And what is it? Oh, it says Clotilde. Very nice, sweetheart. Молодец. Oh, молодец.
How many children do you want to have in the end?
30. As many as God sends. Really, there's not a limit. God will stop sending them when He's finished with us. We just say the more, the merrier. There's no real reason to stop.
How do you see your future here?
I think that there are a lot of opportunities at an economic level here in Russia. So I think that there are some great entrepreneurial adventures one could go on, as well as some investment opportunities. So very interested in that. But as far as a dream is concerned, I don't think that Moscow will be my final resting place. I think for a family, at least for our family and our values and whatnot, that it's important for us to be a little bit further away from the big city. I think it's the best city that I've ever been in, but still, for children, we like the idea of having them a little bit more closer to the various nature and the countryside and whatnot. So that's an ideal for us. I don't have just these, I want to be the CEO of this big IT company one day. That's not what I find value in my life. I just want my children to be safe and they can grow up and be strong in their faith and start their own Russian families and, marry Russians and just to watch them grow up. I mean, that's the most beautiful thing that I can think of as far as my future is concerned. Okay. Sweetheart, I have a job. I'm serious.
You got a job?
Yeah. I just got the email. That was really exciting. Yeah. We have a probationary period for like 3 months, but yeah. That's cleared up. Yes. Thank you.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so exciting.
It really is. Look. So it's just a probationary period for the 3 months, and then that's it.
Oh, that's so wonderful. What a relief.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is awesome.
well, that's
Your prayers paid off, children. You prayed that Papa got a job, and he got one. Boom.
All right, well, that was actually definitely by far the best put together interview of the ones that I have seen. Wow. So thanks to the Russian Code channel. You can find them at Russian Code on YouTube. They've been cranking out a lot of videos. They have a really high quality production team, and I want to thank both of the gentlemen who came here, Pavel and Seraphim, for their awesome work, and anybody else behind the scenes who was working on editing and anything like that. So huge thank you to those guys. And that was just really an awesome interview. I hope it is inspiring to people back in the States and other places that there's a lot of opportunity here. It's not for everybody, I'm not going to say, but I'll tell you, there are tremendous amounts of opportunities and a great place to live, and we're very, 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 very blessed to be here. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I told Russian Code that I was going to do a watch party over here, so my part is done, and thanks for them joining on this end. So make sure to subscribe to their channel. Please do subscribe to mine. It definitely helps everybody to get this message out there. Take care, y'all. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.